My microphone in yet. I'm going to be slightly mobile for a minute. Look at that. Beautiful rain. Working from inside the garage today. Gonna oil up some cutting boards. Well, I got one going in the laser engraver here in just a second. I'm gonna go get myself a cup of coffee. Got a little caterpillar up here. Look at that little guy. Just hanging out. Welcome to the show, viewer. A little caterpillar in the beginning. Yep, nice rainy day. Look at this guy. Yeah. Oil. Boards. Stack of boards here. Light's not playing nice, but there's a stack. All complete, ready to rock. Underneath my tablet here, another stack of boards. Take this and get my playback good, my quality. For a so we're going to go in and get the coffee here in a second. But yep, there it is, another stack of boards right there. Lots of stacks of boards. We're going to adjust that audio quality again, or the video quality again, because that looks like crap on 480. There we go, 720 it is. Yep, see, that looks way better. That's how I make sure I can see what you guys are saying to me when I got the camera mounted up. Alright, so we got, what's up, Spike? How you doing, brother? So we got this Elvish font that is going on the board that is in the laser booth here. Alright? So that Elvish font is going to go right here. Got it all set up, but it's going to go right here. And it's sitting at the font. Let's see, how wide is the font? I know it's about 1 inch tall. It's going to be about 4 inches wide. Yeah, inch tall, about 4 inches wide. That's what we're going to be looking at. Let me smash my own like button here. There we go. All right. So, what is up, Beth? How are you doing, buddy? Haven't seen you in a while. For sure. Let's go get some coffee. Some coffee before I get into this. I'll get set up and see if I can find my nitrile gloves. And I already made the coffee. I didn't pour it yet. Got to get a little coffee in me. Woke up early today. Had a good night out with my wife last night, and stupid midnight schedule. And I can't stay regular. So I woke up at like 5:30 this morning, probably. Yeah, probably around 5:30 this morning. Right now it is 7:30, 7:22. So yeah, I decided screw it. I've got a couple of boards that I got engraved. Get out here and let's get them into oil. Because what I like to do is when I oil my boards, I got two methods. I will drown them and bathe them in a tub, or I'll just wipe it on. So I'll show both of those methods because we're going to have that one going into the laser booth. We'll start running that now. Get that out of the way. So I got to make sure that I get everything in the right spot when I do this. All right, so if I don't get it in the right spot, it will be screwed. So right now, I'm going to move the laser to my square jig. All right, so that sets me up right on the corner of my board. It's all computerized, and I'll run the frame and it'll tell me exactly where it's going to engrave. Make sure that I got what I need correct. Alright, so right now it's just telling me that's where it's going to engrave, in that little spot right there. That looked good, so I can close that up. You don't want to be looking at this thing. It will melt your eyeballs. The roof out of the way. Wipe off some of this glass. I'll give you guys a peek at it. Get some of that sawdust off of there. There's sawdust on the inside of it too, but I'll give you guys a peek at it. Get it running here. All right, so it goes right to work. My little Punisher pajama pants. That just runs like a CNC, man. It just gets up and goes. And that'll run for, let's see, it's already 3% done. The estimated time on that is about 5 minutes. We'll see how it goes though. I built the enclosure, right? I built everything, all that junk on top of it, but I built the entire enclosure. I bought the laser and the CNC machine itself, but the enclosure I built, and it's massive. I mean, it's 54 inches by 54 inches, I believe. And you can see the little light flashing in there, and it does a really, really nice job of engraving. All right, look at there. Hey, Jordy Johnson, look what's going on that board. Look at there. This one is going to Chris Burnett. All right, so this one's already been engraved. Hasn't been oiled yet, but has been engraved. And that got engraved on the cherry wood. So it stands out really, really nice on the cherry wood. The board that's in there right now is, the engraving is going on sapele. And what I'm gonna do is throw you guys up here in my little mount so I can get my hands together. No, I don't even have to zoom in or anything. That's just freaking great. I love that. I looked around last time for my gloves and I didn't find them. I'm going to grab my microphone and get mic'd up though. Before I grab oil, get mic'd up. You guys are going to lose me on the audio here for a second. Flip this open and get plugged in. Alright, you guys should have me back on audio right now. I'm just not speaking so much right now. Just check the comments there, seeing what you guys were saying, seeing what kind of stuff y'all was talking about. There we go. All right. I don't, for the life of me, know where in the hell I stashed all of my gloves. I had. Oh, well, that was pretty easy. Idiot. So I'm sitting here talking about how I don't know where in the hell I stashed all my gloves. I've been looking for my nitrile gloves. Right, I've been looking for these damn things for a couple weeks. And we're standing like this in a milk crate. So I just kept looking right past them, which is freaking great. But yeah, I like to use the nitrile gloves when I do this, just so that I can quickly take my hands out and not worry about oil transferring to anything I don't want it to transfer to. And it's good to use nitrile instead of latex, because if you use latex gloves for this, latex will leave little remnants, little spots all over the place. Everywhere you touch, it will leave a spot, and that can get rather annoying. It'll literally leave fingerprint type of spots all over your wood, which is not fun. It'll do that if you have urethane that you're putting on, whatever it is that you're putting on, it'll leave spots all over everything. So, like I said, I like to use the gloves because then I can just peel them off and be good to go. Bat, you are good, brother. I appreciate all the times you tune in and you support, and I really like you as a person. I think you're a cool dude. I've enjoyed many, many of chats with you. And same with Spike there too. Spike got some stuff too. Yeah, both of you guys are really cool. My wife likes when I live talk with you guys, like via video chat or whatever, because she digs the accents. You know, over here in America, we're stupid about accents, and she digs your guys' accents. All right, so grab this. Like I said, I go with two methods. I go with a bath, or I go with wiping it on. We'll start with bathing Burnett's board. White mineral oil, and you get the FDA approved odorless, tasteless, and colorless. This is food safe oil. All right, so you don't want to use anything but food safe oil. Sweet, I'm looking forward to seeing that. All right, you guys looking forward to seeing what this board looks like with a whole bunch of oil poured on it? All right, so there it is. There's the whole thing. Let's get this into better frame. There we go. This is my favorite part. This is such my favorite part. It's so freaking rewarding. I'll plug my laptop in before the computer dies. Glad I looked over and saw that. The laser program that I have, if the laser gets disconnected or the battery dies on the computer or anything, immediately the laser stops and I have to rehome everything. And it's not really that much of a pain in the butt because I learned quite a bit about it and decided no more of that shit and made a jig in there so I can easily rehome everything. What used to take 20 or 30 minutes now takes about 5. So great reduction. All right, here we go. Get this oil on here. This just comes to life immediately. As soon as the oil touches it, it comes to freaking life. Ready? I'm just going to dump the whole gallon in here because when I'm done, I can just pour it back into the bottle. Doesn't hurt anything. Before I put a board in a bath like this, I make sure to wipe it off and blow it all off and get all the dust off of it. Spin this around so you guys are looking at it in the right direction. Should have put the board in there in the right direction, but I didn't. So normally I'll let that sit for maybe 30 minutes or so. I'm going to flick this light on and keep it on permanently. This one, I don't need to do the one underneath the garage door right now. I have the lights in my garage. I have them set as on motion sensor, and I have to climb up top to flick them onto a staying on permanently. So I'm going to do that real quick. Forgot to do that before I did this little impromptu live. Go get this one over here. All right, that was pretty good timing. The other board just finished. Other board just finished going through the engraver. I'm gonna grab that and pull that out. And this is what I put the gloves on for. In all actuality, this is what I grabbed the gloves for, but I didn't get any oil on them yet. But if I had gotten oil, then I could just switch up and get away from what I needed to get away from. Move the laser to the center position. Yep, that come out nice. Oh, I like that. That came out really, really nice. Move my laser home and shut her down because I don't have anything else going into the engraver yet. I'm waiting on people to pick their boards. Once they pick them, then I can engrave them. There we go. Got the laser program shut down. Leave it running for a second. All right, so second form. All right, like I said, I'll leave this sit in here for 30 minutes or so. Check the time here, 7:35. So we'll call it about 8 o'clock. I'll pull that one out and we'll flick it up into the drying rack. All right, so I use a drying rack over here. That's where this one's going to go to immediately. This one will go immediately into the drying rack instead of being soaked. I've already got some mineral oil on here. Dab some more. And this is the wipe-on method. Not much different. The only difference is with the wipe-on method, about every 20-30 minutes you come and you keep re-soaking it until the wood stops accepting anything. So that's the only real difference in the wipe-on versus the soak. I like to soak because I just want to make sure that the wood absorbs everything. It's not just going to sit there and soak up the entire gallon of oil, so it doesn't hurt anything. And I have another board. I have the charcuterie board is sitting in oil right now. Well, it got wiped on because it was too big to take a bath. But that person has opted to not see it until it comes up on their door. So can't show that one off. How's that for that nice looking engraving? That's that Elven font. It's like Tengwar Anatar, I believe is the name of it. TengwarAnnatar, I believe. There we go. So that'll shine really nice. Once these are done with oil, like I said, I let them sit for 20-30 minutes in here. Let that one sit and continue to soak up oil. We'll come back to this one about every 30 minutes or so and just re-wet it. I'm going to step off camera here and re-wet the charcuterie board that I'm hiding right now. But you just keep on re-wetting them down, and the boards will just keep on soaking up the oil until they're not going to soak them up anymore. They will not just soak up nonstop. Once they've got what they've got, that's it. They're not taking on any more. And then after a good soaking and a good amount of time sitting, then you buff off the oil and you apply your butcher block conditioner. I use Howard products. That is my go-to conditioner. I like that stuff a lot. Does a fantastic job. So these boards, all these boards that are getting oiled today, probably be ready for shipping tomorrow. every board that I'm doing today, except for the one that I just wiped on a second ago, they're all going to be shipped. Right, so this one's shipping to Canada. The one with all the pretty lines on it, that one is staying here locally. But this guy down here, that one's going to ship off to Canada. Yeah, that one's for Skipper BAP. So BAP, that, well, actually both of you, that piece of sapele I sent you, yeah, that sapele's in that board. Yeah, I had a freaking, I had hell with this board. This board challenged me at so many levels. So if you want to know how I did this BAP, it's very, very simple in theory, right? You build the board similar like you would down here, you build it whole. Once you've got it built, not edged, just built and glued together, all the individual pieces. Then you draw your line and you cut with your router. It's better to use a template and use a flush trim bit and make a cut. And once you got your initial groove, then you can go through with your bandsaw, get the rest, flip it over and use your flush trim bit and trim off the other side. The theory is if you use a 1/4 inch bit, you have to fill it with a 1/4 inch worth of strips, and then it goes back together and everything lines up perfectly, like it never got separated. Clearly, that did not happen. That is wrong. This spot here, right? Like there's a lot that's off. So there was supposed to be a line just like this coming from this way and crossing up that way. So there was going to be another line in there. I got tired and I fought this board for months, literally months, close to a year. I fought this board because every time I would make a cut, I would get screwed and spend hours sanding and adjusting to get this to come back to fit nice and tight. So these are all individual, no more than an 1/8 inch thick, all of them. They're all no more than an 1/8 inch thick. And that allows you to flex it. So when you put it back together, it'll flex and it'll curve. And then, excuse me. So you have to do this one, right? So you put the board together, you make this cut, you glue those 3 pieces in, dry. You make another curve, you cut it, you glue it back together, you let it dry. Make another curve, you cut it, you glue it back together, you let it dry. So it's a very time-consuming process. And every time I did it, I was like, son of a bitch. I have to freaking sand and sand and sand and sand. Yeah, it's kind of voodoo-y. Tons of work though, yeah. So that that sapele that both of you guys got, that little piece of sapele, pop this board out, I'll flip it over. Burnett's board. So that's sapele, sapele, right? So you got sapele here, sapele there, sapele there. That's all sapele. So when you guys sand it, this is sanded to 240 grit. When you guys sand your sapele, you get that nice color change in it. If you give a good sanding on it, that real pretty look, that's what you guys want right there. I might have to get another gallon of mineral oil if I'm going to keep doing these bathes like this. See, now this is where I said I use the gloves, right? Because now I want to drink a coffee, but I don't want oil all over my my coffee mug. Now my hand's clean. All right, I can set that glove aside. It's just throwaway glove at this point. I can keep the other one on, keep one. This beautiful rainy morning. I can't wait to see what you're doing on the bike. Yeah, sapele is absolutely, 100%, absolutely one of my absolute favorite woods to work with. I wish I had more boards that were engraved right now because I would do more wipe-ons and get all that going. Because I have two of these racks, so I can fit 4 boards in each rack. So technically, I could wipe 4 boards and have a stack of wipes and a stack of bathed boards. Like I said, both methods are effective. I just like doing the bath because I really like to let it soak in there and get deep into the wood. You still get it to soak deep into the wood doing the wipe on. If I was to sand this board down right now, it would be it would take quite a bit of sanding to get past the oil even at this little bit of time. But yeah, this that sapele is crazy. There's sapele in this one too. So it really changes. That's sapele. That's walnut. And curly cherry, curly maple, right? But you get a lot of different looks. For this style of board would be around 250. Just because it takes so much extra work to get all that in. My regular boards go for about 80. And this board right here, I probably wouldn't touch it for less than 250 bucks. I've got into that board, I've got easily 30 hours into that board. So I'm really ripping myself off at 250 bucks. I'm ripping myself off completely. So boards like this, those are probably primarily going to be gift boards, and that is it. If I feel like being really, really nice to somebody and I want to give them a really cool gift, it'll be something like that. As far as doing them on a production level, no thanks. Yeah, I think it's a fair price, 250 bucks. Like I said, I'm ripping myself off at 250 bucks. But realistically, nobody's going to pay that much for a cutting board. Some people are sticker shocked at $80 for a cutting board. And I mean, these cutting boards that I'm doing, they're not lightweight jokers, man. I mean, each one of these boards is 5-6 pounds. Blow this off, right? Like, I mean, they're thick. That board is over an inch thick, and it's by 15 1/4 long, right? So that's a 5-6 pounds easy. These boards are murder weapons. That's what they double up as. Don't get your wife angry because if she hits you with one of these, you're going down for sure. I came out here in my pajamas and my Chris's custom cut woodworking gear, my dusty ass sweater. Grab me another glove and do another wipe. Come on. Yeah, put another wipe on this one, put another wipe on the charcuterie. It's hiding out of view. A little bit more oil on this one. And you keep on just layering it on nice and thick. Like I said, at some point it'll quote unquote stop accepting oil, and it'll just stay on there really thick, and it won't come off, and then you know you're pretty good. Just make sure that you're paying attention, you're coating everything, right? I screwed up when I lined up and put my logo in there. Logo doesn't really look good over multiple species. It was supposed to be down here more and only catch a couple of species, but oh well, life happens. My logo's not the important part on it anyways. The important part is what is on the front of the board that people can see. Put that back in there. Give myself another little dab. Actually, I'm going to grab the charcuterie board and bring it over. Just try to keep it out of view. One of my wife's hairs made it on here. Lovely lady, and her hair get everywhere. So the one thing that oil does too, it really, really accentuates everything. So that's another reason why it's in your water. If you don't do your water, you won't see those flaws until it's too late. Until after you put your oil on. The oil will show the same stuff that the water will show. So you want to make sure that you're not allowing that to happen. You don't want your flaws flying through there. Trying to just make sure I keep the charcuterie board out of the camera here, because I don't know if the person who's receiving this tunes in or not. I assume it's possible sometimes he does. If he does, he doesn't usually comment. So, and it's okay. This board is freaking stellar. I really do like this board a lot. I told him last night that if it wasn't an ordered board for him specifically, 100% I would have kept this board for myself. Not even a question. I would have kept that board for myself. Yeah, we got about 8 more minutes here with the brunette board. Flip it over. Let that last 8 minutes go on the other side. Well, this is why I prefer the bathing method too, right? Lots less work. I just flip it over once or twice. Good to go. Don't have to fight it or mess with it at all. Yeah, women and hair, man. Yeah. Yeah, see the logos are looking a lot better when they're primarily on one piece. They look a lot better. Keep that down in there. We'll get more coffee in a minute. Like I said, I really wish that I got one person that I'm waiting on. Just one person. She's the second pick. And she's seen the messages, but she hasn't picked. I got to try to contact her today and be like, hey, there's like 9 other picks after you. We need you to pick. We need you to get going, because there's the next 2 people after her have 2 picks, and then everybody else is 1 pick. I can be engraving and oiling today instead of trying to do it throughout the week. You know what? That other guy is not tuned in right now, because it's just the 2 guys in here. And I didn't post this to my Facebook page. I'm going to give you guys the grand unveiling, because you guys both tune in quite a bit. I'm going to give you guys the grand unveiling on this charcuterie board that I've been working on and hiding. Oh yeah, yeah, it comes out a lot. Even wiping it on, it comes on pretty good. You guys ready to see the charcuterie board? It's big. It is freaking big. It's almost 12 inches by almost 29 inches roughly. All right. Gotta try to do this where I can see the camera here. It's the back side of the board. Oh, wait a minute. Who faded out? One of you guys faded out. We only got one viewer right now. Was it Spike or was it faded out? Okay, it's only showing one viewer. Screw it. Here it comes, guys. So this has some Chechen, walnut, cherry, walnut, sapele. I can't remember what name of wood that is, but it's bordered up with some zebra wood. All right, now check out that laser engraving too. Look at that little, kind of can't really see the, there we go, the little knots inside of the knots. All right, here's that, there's that zebra wood butted right up to another type of wood that went really, really well together. All right, so that's the charcuterie board, and that Chechen, I'm getting more of that stuff because that stuff is just insanely gorgeous. I'm definitely getting more of that stuff. There you go. You guys got first eyes on, other than my family, of that charcuterie board. You guys are first eyes on it. And that was a fun one, man. That like I told my wife, and I told the owner of that board, if I had done that board just to do it, it would be staying here. So if you guys aren't aware of what a charcuterie board is, good night's sleep. Oh, wait, missed that comment. What was that here? Right? Yeah, dude, it's totally a weapon. And I totally designed it that way. I wanted it to look like a giant meat cleaver. Like, that's why I designed the handle that way. I wanted it to look like a big, giant meat cleaver. But if you guys aren't familiar with the purpose of a charcuterie board, it's basically a large cutting board that's used as a serving board, right? You put meats and cheeses and breads and stuff on it, and then you just slide it out on the table, and that's it. It's done. It's just a serving tray. Yes, Viking weapons for sale now, for sure. For sure, Viking weapons for sale. Got a couple more minutes before we pull this board up and out of the oil. Let this bottom side catch a little more. Just a quick dip. Back down. And then I'll pull that out and stand it up in here. Let it drip. And probably what I'll do is take this rack, set the rack in there, and let them both sit so this one can drip dry for a while. It's not a weapon, it's a chopping board. I remember our conversation about Ireland and weapons. Yeah, it's definitely just a chopping board. What you chop with it is your choice. Yeah, so I'll pull this out, this nice curly maple right here. All right, you can see, pull that out in a second here. It's almost time. I could pull it out a minute early, it wouldn't hurt me, but I like to be thorough. At least I attempt to be. Just waiting on the click. So that curly maple is extremely hard wood. Curly maple is even harder to work with because it's figured. So if you don't have the right tools to work it, you will never get it to stay smooth the right way. And it can be a massive pain in the butt. But here is, that whole strip is curly maple. You can kind of see it a little. Changes in the light. It has a, there you go. How that effect hits it. Stand that up. Don't you slide on me. And we can let that oil run right down back into itself. No problems. Get the rag wet and we'll dip this guy again. And then these three boards will, by the time I get another board engraved, selected by somebody and engraved, these boards will be ready to move to a different rack and get ready to take on their quick buffing of this oil off, and then butcher block conditioner it. Yeah, I don't think it's going to need. I don't think it's going to need any more oil. I think that's going to be the final coat on that. Grab the charcuterie board and we'll hit that with another coat. So I just use food trays to let all the oil drain in when I'm not draining it right back into the oil bin. Just a regular old food tray. Does the trick, like a catering tray. It's really good because it's, you know, it's obviously food safe since it's catering. But I have two different kinds. I have the cheap ass tin foil dollar store ones, which work fine. And then I have a heavier duty one that's actually more catering tray related. This is probably going to be the last oiling on this charcuterie board too. Yeah, just check out that little bit of different color in that cherry on that. Kind of cool little accent. Yeah, no problem, Bob. I try to share whatever knowledge I have. I'm not a knowledge hoarder. I like being able to share what little bit of knowledge I have. Sometimes I know a little bit more than a little bit less, which is fun. But I try to share when I can. I think it's good to share what knowledge you can. See, like I said, no oil on the hands. Go right back to the coffee. Thank you. I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate it. And you guys tuning in and supporting. Like you can kind of maybe see it right here a little bit. But a little bit of pooling right there. Your end grain is soak up more than your face or your edge grain. So you can see it kind of pooled up right there. That's what I was kind of talking about, where it just kind of stops taking it in. You can see where this all kind of got dried. being stood up vertically helps with that. But that little bit of pooling right there is an indicator that it's pretty much done soaking up the oil right there. So I know that I'm pretty good right there. Like I said, the end grain always, always, always soaks up more than the edge of the face grain. That goes for even when you're painting the sides of your pieces to try to, or the sides of your logs to try to prevent checking and cracking as it's slowly drying, right? So it helps with that. It applies to that. It applies to a lot of different things, but end grain will definitely do that. I try to be wise sometimes, except in the presence of my wife. If I'm wise in front of my wife, I get in trouble. I've already shown this to Spike Bat, but I'll pull it out and show you. So this was only part of this board, right? So look at some of those mistakes. That's what a pain in the butt it was. If I could have gotten this better filled and better tight, I'd have had another inch or so of length on that board. It would have been way, way nicer. I'd have had another 1.5 inches or so on this board because everything else was great, but I couldn't get that right. And that's not safe to use, right? But yeah, it's just all individual little pieces, man. All glued together, and then you make your cuts like anything else. I was talking with Burnett, and I have a whole bunch of these, right? Like I got a whole box full of these little cutoff pieces. I think my plan is I'm going to glue a bunch of those together and just make one big block, because a lot of it's already jointed and sanded and all that stuff. So I'm going to make one nice big size block, and then I'm going to do a carving with like a multi-species carving, but I don't know what I'm going to carve in it yet. But one big multi-species. When you cut a log, the best way to smooth the end grain, you try sanding it, but it burns. Well, so here's the thing. What grain sandpaper are you using? And what type of sander are you using? Are you using a belt sander? Are you using an orbital sander? Because that's going to make a big difference whether or not you use a belt sander, orbital sander, and what grit of sandpaper you're using. That's all going to make a massive difference. It turns out I did not need a hoodie out here. Okay, so you usually hand sand and you're burning it hand sanding it? Jesus Christ, how fast do you move your hands? You should not be burning it with hand sanding. Okay, so you're on the right track, man. I mean, 80 grit sandpaper gets it starting to be smooth, and then just stepping it up from there. I wouldn't go any higher than 120 on the end grain. 120, 150, 180 tops. 180 is like really high end. I mean, you're going to get a ridiculously smooth finish on. So I would start anywhere between 60 and 80 grit, and I would stop 120, 150, just depending on what you have and what's available. I wouldn't go any higher than that. Once you start getting over 150, now you're creating a lot more heat and working a lot harder to get it smooth. Yeah, I don't know how you're getting it to have small brown spots, right? Like this is the log off the carving that I sent to Spike. I don't want sawdust getting everywhere. That's the end of the log from the carving I sent Spike. That little, right? That's super rough, like super, super rough. And I don't know what wood it is, but I don't think it's a super hardwood. But if I took even just let's see what I got here. Because I know you said you hand sand it. I wouldn't hand sand this normally. I definitely wouldn't, just because I'm lazy. I don't want to work that hard at all, ever. Not my gig. I don't like working that hard. 220, I don't want that. All right, I got a used piece of, slightly used piece of 120 grit, right? And just quick, nothing. And this isn't even starting at, not even starting on an 80 grit or anything. You're still going to see some massive saw marks. But it'll change really fast. And I just move really, really slow. I'm going to do this over here so you guys can kind of see it. And I'm going to sit down because, again, lazy. I don't like to work that hard. All right, I know now you can see it. So I move back and forward, up and down. And 120 grit is not ideal for getting the rough stuff, obviously. 120 is more of a second step to finishing. 40 to 80 grit is for knocking down the rough stuff. But even just that quick little bit smoothed it out quite a bit. The saw marks in it, but even that quick little bit with the 120 will take it down pretty quick. Now, if I use my orbital sander, and this is what I would recommend, Bap, use your orbital sander, all right? I would definitely recommend that. I've got 240 on there right now. Let me grab my 80 here. That's a 220. Nope, I got a piece of here. We'll switch to the 40 grit real quick. All right, 40 grit, super, super abrasive, super aggressive, excellent for getting into exactly what you're trying to do. I mean, look at this, right? Super freaking. 40 grit is perfect for what you're trying to do. Those rough saw marks out. I'm going to step away from the cutting boards and the oil because I don't want to get dust in them. Step over here and plug in over by the outside world here. I'm going to run an extension cord real quick. But it's a quick process, especially with 40 grit. So if you can get 40 grit sandpaper and start with that, it'll change your life, man. It'll make a massive difference for you. Cut out a lot of work. You'll see I'm not gonna hit this very hard, very long. Just enough to get it going. Yep. Look at how much 40 grit does. Look at all the work it takes off of you. And you heard I didn't run it very long. Grit took out all those saw marks in what, maybe 30 seconds, if that. I mean, it's not a huge piece, right? Not a huge piece, not as wide as my hand, right? So it's maybe a 3-inch in diameter piece. You can switch right off of that 40 grit. Now, typically, I'm going to use this piece. It's that last 240 grit piece. I'm just going to use that because it's going to go in the trash now anyways. Typically, you wouldn't step up that high. Normally, you would go from 40 to 80 maybe 100. And then from 80 or 100 to 120, 150 maybe. But we're going to jump right to 240 grit on this. See, even more drastic. This will take a little bit longer because it's a finer grit. And even though the random orbital sander moves everything, I'm still moving the sander with it. But this will be buttery smooth. And when I bring this back over to you, all that end grain is going to pop so much more. You'll be able to see the ring so much clearer. Yep, way much more clear. Put that 40 grit back in here real quick. Like I said, I normally don't use 40 grit unless I'm taking down saw marks, chainsaw marks or whatever, trying to get through the really rough and heavy stuff first. But see, this is, you were talking about the little brown marks, right? And I was moving it around as how's that? Like I said, buttery smooth. And that's with the 240 grit. I would never take it to that on an end grain piece unless I needed to. If I was doing like an end grain cutting board or something like that, I might take it to a 240 grit. But for a log for carving, I would definitely stop at 120. I wouldn't go any past 120, 150. Just depending on what I had readily available. Yeah, definitely not sanding near the boards. No, 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 no. And it wouldn't matter that much right now because the only thing it would do is put sawdust in the oil, like into the bin of oil, which we don't want to do either. So that's why I moved far, far away. I didn't come anywhere near the boards. But even if I had, it's just going to get wiped off. The sand dust wouldn't stay on there, or sawdust wouldn't stay on there. It'd wipe right off. And then when I put on the butcher block conditioner, that is a mixture of mineral oil and some beeswax and other natural oils and stuff. So it doesn't seal up like urethane does. Yeah. So a trick, Spike, with the sanding pads, and I know it sucks. It's not my favorite trick. I bought a shit ton of cheap Amazon sanding pads. They do not stick onto the hook and loop anywhere near as well as higher grade, higher quality, more expensive sanding pads. The more expensive ones, I easily get double or triple the amount of time on them. Yeah, no problem, brother. Always glad to give any little bit of tips that I can, including while I'm in my PJs. I'm going to have to go in and get some more coffee here shortly. Unplug my sander, move that back, I guess, while I'm sitting here. But yeah, we were talking about the sanding pad flying off. Like I said, as soon as I took off that 240 to put on the grit, it was already wanting to fly off over there when I was sanding it. So I said I was going to use that one because I knew it was going to go right back to the trash. That's one of those cheaper Amazon bundles that I bought, trying to just save money, right? Like, oh yeah, I'll save a few bucks. This is so much cheaper. And yeah, I'm going to save some money, but I'm running through those sanding pads way faster, like way, way faster. These Gator Pads, right? Those work okay. I know the grain is so pretty. These Gator Pads, they work okay. This is that's actually for the palm sander, not the random orbital, but I put in there. I threw the grit in there. These work okay, and even these are not great, but these are expensive, right? Like the 6 sheets, and this was like $4 or $5 for 6 sheets of that stuff. But it is still much, much better. And then there's these Perfomax, same thing. You get 5-inch diameter, 5 discs, and these were $4 or $5 a piece. Not super long lasting, but better than the super cheap stuff. And I would pull out the super cheap stuff, but they're oh, I got one. I do have one. It's a no-name brand. I do have some here. They look good, man, but it's really, really, really shallow hook and loop. Right, so the hook and loop on that is so shallow, so it doesn't stick very long. I'll pull out one of these nicer ones and I'll show you. I'm going to pull that 40 grit out because I think that Gator brand, the Gator brand is better than the other one. I mean, it looks, you can kind of see the lines, right? You can kind of see the lines in that. You gotta get really close to see the lines in that one. I don't know. Like I said, I feel like the more expensive ones are just better. And I don't do that with everything. There's some things that I legitimately try to go inexpensive on, but that's kind of the gig, man. Oh, where did I put those? I'm down here. Trying to remember where I put some. I was going to bring to your attention, Bap, because I know you have an angle grinder, and I have not used these yet, but I do plan to. As you were asking about the sanding and all that, there it is. I don't know if they'll ship to you in Ireland, Bap. This Benchmark Abrasives company, they have a thing online right now. This will fit your angle grinder, and it's just flap sander paper, so you can probably get this in Ireland somewhere too. But on Facebook and Instagram, Benchmark Abrasives, they were running where you got 2 packs of these. They're still running it right now. I just saw it the other day. You get 2 packs of these, 10 discs, free. You just pay the shipping, right? And the shipping on this was like, I want to say the shipping was like $10 for me. What's up, Stuart? Use these to do your end grain and knock it down. If it's really rough, use that. I haven't used these, obviously. I haven't opened them, but I do plan to use them on some bigger carvings because I wanted to see how much better it'll be for sanding it down and getting it quote unquote smooth. That's what I was going for, was trying to get that smoother look. But I haven't done any big carvings like that. Looks like I'm reconnecting here a little bit. Hope it's not on my phone end. Nope, phone end looks good. It's just my tablet end. tablet end was refreshing. I'm going to check some comments here, and then I'm going to go get more coffee. Yay for coffee. Yeah, I love the freaking grain. The grain is amazing. I agree. You definitely get what you pay for, and buying some of the cheaper stuff, no good. I recently bought some carving burrs that were super cheap on Amazon. It was like $6 or $7 for 20 of them. Those didn't do too bad. I was pleasantly surprised with those. And the cheap diamond burrs that I got from Harbor Freight, those were pretty good too. So I didn't have any issues with those. I am well, Stuart. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you're well too, brother. Yeah, when you put them on a large flat area, they definitely last longer. But when you run along the edge of something, like when you're sanding along the edge of that, it definitely makes a freaking difference. Like it's a huge, ridiculous difference. Get one, man. Get a Kutzall shaping disc. I waited until they went on sale at a local store around me. They went on sale like 20% off or something like that. And I was like, all right, now's the time to buy. Yeah, I waited till they went on sale. Basically, it was buy two, get one free with the 20% off. So I got an extreme course with a concave, and then I got more of a flat one, and then I bought a fine one too. I got those last year when I was doing pumpkins. Massive difference when I was doing the pumpkins. It's always someone's fault. What an influence he is. Time to go for a walk and get some more coffee. I'll check the comments when I come back. So the nice thing about using that oil and not having anybody else that has said anything as far as what board they want, and me not engraving anything and not being full right now, I can let that oil sit on there as long as I want. I could let it sit on there for 2 days before I decide to wipe it off and add the butcher block conditioner. Longer you let it sit on there, the more it soaks in anyways. Pretty much you're pretty good after about 30 minutes anyways, but a little more coffee in the cup. So I got a buddy that I buy most of my wood from my cutting boards, all my cutoff pieces, because he does cutting boards as well. And he's been a great asset, good friend as far as giving me information with lasers and stuff, because he laser engraves, and I had him do my coffee mug. Because he has the tools to do that. He has the cylinders and stuff. Yeah, I got a good fair majority of them. Hey, knockoffs work for some stuff. We were just talking about cheaper tools. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But If the price is right, it's cheap, and it's worth it to try, run it. Walnut pretty much looks the same when it's finished, and this is walnut right here. All right, so I can touch it by hand. I'm just making sure that I've got a grip on it. That whole big center. It's not the exact same piece off of what I sent you guys, but that is that's walnut. And like I said, it pretty much all finishes the same. Oil finishes differently than urethane, obviously, but it all kind of looks the same, very close, as long as you keep it. Oh, I know, the tone is sick deep on walnut. Walnut is so beautiful, so beautiful. It's so dark though. If I laser engrave on walnut, almost for certain, you're not even going to see it. At least I don't, because I'm colorblind. You know what? If you take your time, Bap, with the walnut, slow down your Dremel, carve a little bit slower. I don't know which Dremel you use. I think you use a 4000 or a 4300. When I carve walnut with my 4300, I drop it down to like 25,000 RPMs, 25,000. I still use the Kutzall burrs. Still does good for roughing it all out. But the little carbide cutters that leave a smoother finish, they cut harder woods way nice, like way nice. Not necessarily better, but they definitely cut it nice, and they leave it really good. I'm gonna grab these little cheap knockoff burrs that I got. These are the ones that I got for like $6, right? Like the 20 of them for like $6. These little guys like that, those little cutters, they go through the hardwood pretty good, and they leave a nice finish. So rough it out with your Kutzall. Finish it with that, and like I said, don't run it at any higher than maybe 25,000 RPMs, and you'll get through that walnut significantly easier than you think you might. Not like super easy, but it's really not that bad. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it sucks to carve walnut. And maybe it's different for me because I don't carve, like I've never carved a piece of basswood. I've never had any interest in picking up a piece of basswood and carving. The softest wood I have carved is cedar. And I know cedar is super, super soft, but that is the softest piece of wood I've ever carved is cedar. I've always carved on maple, cedar, walnut, cherry. Sapele carves really, really nice and leaves you a super, super smooth finish. Remember earlier we had that little bit of pooling up there. Now it's gone. I'm going to go ahead and coat the two wipe-on boards again, but I'm not going to get the rag wet, right? Because it's already got enough on there. If I squeeze it, it's going to drip out. But I'm going to resaturate it because I can, and there's no rush on this since I don't have anybody else that has come in and said this is the one I want. Like I said, I'm still waiting on the one person to come and make her pick so I can tag the other people and get their pick made. I think Larry Dibb would. I'm going to coat the So the nice part about using mineral oil too is the rag. You know, you just throw it in the washing machine, man. You know, you can use paper towel. I like using the microfiber rags because they don't collect lint as much, right? And they don't leave anything on your board. So these little microfiber rags, I like using these for oil because, like I said, they don't collect the lint as much and the debris. Like they'll collect dust like crazy, but lint and stuff that gets left behind, they don't really collect it much. And you just throw it in the washing machine when you're with it, and that's it. You know, you just keep reusing it rather than going through tons and tons and tons of paper towel. I've never carved you, so I don't know where walnut stands next to you wood, but in the carving group, I posted a link in the announcements so you can look at the Janka scale and you can directly compare how hard walnut is compared to you. Yeah, if you don't slow it down, you'll burn it. Same thing with maple, man. If you run at high speeds, you'll burn it. Maple way harder than walnut, extremely harder than walnut. Maple is up there with ash. They make maple, or they make baseball bats are made out of maple and ash. So maple is extremely hard compared to walnut. Yeah, yeah. So if you carved in all of those and you were getting burning, it's most definitely because you were running the bit too fast. Maple will burn really easy even when I run my router, because my router runs at 30, 35,000, whatever RPMs it runs at. And every time I do maple, if I sit for a half a second, it's burned. On sapele, it doesn't burn so much. Walnut, it doesn't burn so easily. It does burn, but not as easily as maple. It seems like the lighter color woods really, really, really burn fast, like really fast. Cherry wood works really nice, and it carves really, really well. A little block of cherry wood here. If you ever have the opportunity to get a little piece of cherry wood to carve, it's awesome. Like even a razor blade, and this is a dull razor blade, man, but you know, right off the corner, it just, and I'm trying not to get it into the oil, but I mean, you get the point, right? Like it's even going across the end grain side. It's a little rougher going across the end grain, but do it down here. See, I'm in frame. Even going across the end grain. And this is a dull razor blade. It's not very sharp at all. I definitely don't whittle. I don't have the patience for whittling. But even a dull razor blade, it still cut it pretty smooth. Cherry just carves really, really nice. I like cherry for a lot of different purposes and reasons. And cherry finishes so nice too. Like my little element challenge piece here, that's all dusty. I'm gonna blow it off over here. I did the base in this in cherry. Use the air compressor and blow this off. Cherry wood just engraves really, really well, the laser. It just works really nice. Like the workability is freaking nice. I never signed the bottom of it, but it finishes nice. That's got a urethane on it, a satin finish, so it doesn't even have any luster or shine to it. Cherry wood is just one of my favorite woods to work with as far as all-purpose woods, I guess we'll say. Call it an all-purpose wood. That works. Oh, this is what I was going to show you guys earlier too. Stuart is aware of that. I sent Stuart some with his cutting board, but this is the butcher block conditioner that's going to go on after the oil. That's a sample size bottle that I send with the boards. Right, so you get food grade mineral oil and natural waxes. So it's super all natural and very okay to ingest. This 2-ounce bottle will do 5 boards easily. All right, so you get a good stretch of that stuff. It's not very expensive. The big bottle is like 10 bucks maybe, but since I buy those little bottles for sending to samples, I'll just order more sample bottles and keep sending them out. See what we got here. Yeah, walnut will be a little bit better for you, Bap. Won't be as bad. That carving that I sent you, that was a piece of maple. And like I said, you slow your burrs down, you'll be okay. You just got to really slow it down and take your time. You can't heavy hands it like old Jordy Johnson and just cram it in there and run with it. I mean, you can, but you'll be paying for it. You'll be frustrated and not happy with your decision. I guess I can check my Facebook post. Oh, my stepdaughter is home. I didn't expect her quite this early. It's only 8:45-ish. Did not expect her here this early at all. Check my notifications here real quick and see if she has replied and picked the damn board yet. Does not look like it. Clear out some of my other notifications while I'm in here though. Oh, I got tagged in a post. Oh. Reply to this post real quick. I'm going to make room for my daughter to get through here. Now you can get through. You work a double today? Yeah, I work from 10 in the morning to 7 or 8 at night. Sounds like not fun, but you should make good tips. You'll be happy if you come home with like $100. No, I won't. I make $100 in the morning. I'll be happy if I come home with 300. You're getting greedy. You can push it back right here. I'm done with the laser engraver for now. Just replying to comments here and clearing stuff out. Sure would be great. I will message her again now because I need to get it going. We'll see if that comes back. Get another message. Click that home button. All right, check my comments with you guys, see what you guys are saying over here. Yeah, I think the metalworking burrs are going to do you far more justice on the walnut for sure. Yeah, they do for me at least, on the walnut and on maple. I just messaged the person that I've been waiting on to reply again so I can start moving forward. I've got a lot of people that are waiting and want to pick their boards. I've actually got, I'm like super excited. I got so many, I got 4 boards that are going out that are all trade or gift. And obviously Skip's board, right? Skip sent me a carving a while ago. He requested a cutting board, so he's got a cutting board coming to him, obviously. John White is getting a charcuterie board. I'm getting a carving from Doug Horn for a cutting board, so he's going to get a cutting board. I'm going to get a carving. And then I've also got a trade going on with Mr. Robert Eugene. So I'm going to get one of his phenomenal carvings for a cutting board as well. Super stoked about all those guys and all their skills and all their carvings. I have a pretty good list of people that I want carvings from at some point. Spike and Bap, you're not excluded from that list either. At some point I do want a carving from you guys as well. But I've already got Jordy, I've got Burnett, I got Dib, I got Dan Hunk, I got Liz Penna, I got Stewart, sent me a couple of really awesome carvings. I don't know if I'm missing anybody else or not. But I do plan to have a pretty good list of people there. Yeah, there is some freaking phenomenal carvers in our community, and like, I am honored to get a piece from anybody. Like when I normally post a carving in the group and say, hey, who wants to trade? I legitimately don't care who I'm trading with. I don't care what skill level they're at. When I post a carving for trading with somebody, I'm legitimately, I just want to trade with somebody and have a carving come in from anybody, care less what skill level they're at. If it's somebody like Spike or Bap or Stewart or Eugene or Doug or whatever, who their skill levels are quite a bit ahead of mine. I would never dream of putting a carving for a carving up because I I want people to feel like they're getting the best end of the deal or an equal end of the deal. So I always offer a cutting board or something else in my finer woodworking repertoire. I just prefer to make sure it feels like a fair deal. When I send it out to the group and I'm just posting it openly and whoever comes back comes back. I mean, they see what they're getting. They know. Yeah, well, the piece I sent you, Spike, I mean, that one, self-admittedly, that is hands down my quote unquote best wood spirit to date. Like, and I wasn't really quote unquote trying with that, right? It was like a spur of the moment, like, hey, yeah, let's carve. Let's see what I can do. Let's see if this comes up okay. Is it going to be good? Whatever. And not even really like pushing to try it. But the wood spirit previous to that, right? Like if I pull down a couple of wood spirits here, my beautiful wife, I love her. She's so honest. This was the meth spirit, right? Usually your spirit looks like he's on meth. She's a beautiful, wonderful, honest woman. This was the meth head spirit, right? So I liked the hair out of all the wood spirits that I did. I liked his hair the best on that. But yeah, that was the meth head spirit. His nose is super flat. I mean, I carved him out of a square piece, kind of a squared off piece, and I really don't like him at all. Like, I would throw this in the group as a who wants to trade and not care anything about what comes back. This is the wood spirit right before the one that I did, that I sent you, Spike, and his eyes are dumb. I really don't like his eyes. But this is another piece of maple, right? Like really hard, nice piece of maple. And it was just, let's see what I can do. We'll carve something. I liked how I got his eyebrows, and I gave him some like little war paint wrinkles and stuff like that. His lips, though, I hate his lips. The lips on the one that I sent you, I really, really liked. The one I sent you, overall, I really, really liked that one. This is another one. I would throw it in the group and say, who wants to trade? Send me what you got, and I wouldn't care about what comes back. The stupid little Pennywise carving I did, I would send that one out for trade. This guy that's a work in progress that I've started and not finished yet, this wood is pretty difficult to carve. Just the grain really throws it in every direction. I'm okay with it. Like, I'm fine with it. I'll finish carving it. I ran a test of some stuff on the back and didn't really care that I was running the test on it. But we'll see how this one comes out. You know, I don't know how it's going to come out, but we'll see. Maybe it'll come out okay. Maybe it won't. But I kind of like how I got the mouth going on it and the teeth. So I'm going to try to kind of 3D it up. But that's another one that's going to come back after I finish off the pumpkin challenge piece and stuff like that. So do what I did, Bap. I got super sneaky ninja-y, and I found out from Spike that Spike can ship to you domestically, so I shipped everything to him, so I saved myself one international shipping, and it probably saved me $60 easily. Well, I'm glad that you felt like you got the better end of the deal, Stuart, because I feel like I got a really good deal too. And that is how I want it to be when I trade with a very skilled carver for a very skilled piece. I always want it to feel like they got a great deal out of it. and I feel like I'm getting a good deal if I approach you for a trade, then yeah, I already feel like I'm getting a good deal. Yeah, I felt like the little Joker piece was fitting for you, Bap, as you were watching it. And Spike, I did talk with Bap. It was Bap who suggested the purple color. I think at that point I had already slated that that one was going to go to Bap. It just took me a while to ship it. Oh, for sure, we've all got unfinished pieces, except for maybe Stuart. I think Stuart tends to finish all of his pieces and cranks through them really good. I think he's pretty dedicated to finishing them up. And oh yeah, dude, he's freaking wicked. And like, you look at Stuart's carvings, and he's 2.5 years into carving, and you look at the skill level and what's coming off him. The dude just had natural artistic capabilities. He's like born with them. Me, I gotta work at it. Like I gotta work at it. And he looks like it comes natural to him, and his pieces are just freaking stellar. I'm stoked that I got a piece from him. But back on the shipping thing, yeah. If you have to send stuff to a couple different countries, try to talk to one of the people that ships. And I did find out you cannot ship cash, or customs will take it. But if you can PayPal or whatever, then you can pay for the domestic shipping and save yourself a little bit. PayPal the person who's willing to ship it off to the other people for you. So like you said, you got Jordy and Dibs and a few others, right? So Jordy and Dibs, same country, ship to one of them. I would ship it to Dib and have Dib ship to Jordy, because Jordy doesn't like shipping. But that way you save yourself at least one international shipping rate, because it's not going to cost you that much more to put one in a package, one additional carving in a package. And then if you do it that way, you'll save yourself at least one or two or more international shipping rates. Same thing to the U.S. If you've got multiple people in the U.S., send them to me, and I will ship them to the other people. I don't have a problem shipping out for you, especially if it's going to save you a ton of money. For sure, I will help you save money. And Robert Eugene, I did the same thing with him that I did with you, Stuart. I told him to surprise me and carve up something creepy. And he messaged me yesterday and he goes, "Carving's done." Like, what? Dude, how do you knock it out that fast? Like, geez, oh, peace. Like, he literally, like, we started talking about it Wednesday or Thursday evening, I believe. I think it was Wednesday evening. And he messaged me last night, Saturday night, "Carving's done." Like, holy crap, dude. I know he does mostly gouges. He doesn't do a lot of power carving, but geez, oh, Pete's, like, he rocked one out that fast. I couldn't dream of being that quick yet. Yeah, I'm not surprised you got multiple stuff on the go, but I think you're probably one of the carvers, Stuart, that actually hammers through and gets them done pretty quickly too, is not leaving an open project on the table for months, like my little gargoyle freaking Zool Ghostbusters character over there. That one's been sitting on the tabletop for easily 5 weeks probably. I have other things pop up. Come on. Come on, young lady. Get back with me. Checking these notifications real quick on Facebook. Clear them all out. Oh, Mark the Block did something creative this morning. I saw the picture and all I saw was a wood grain. And I scrolled down and it's a pie. He's got a pie sitting on the counter. Yep. All right, Stuart, you're bailing, man. I appreciate you swinging in. Enjoy your creative day. You guys have still got your element challenge pieces. Finish them anyways and post them. Carve with one chainsaw tooth? What did you do? Got a carving bar? So why does that make you only carve with one tooth? Because you're just using the point of the tip? Is that what you're referring to? Don't want it posted on Facebook. You're scared of the results, huh? Gotcha. I thought that might be what you were talking about, is the one tip at the tooth, or one tooth at the tip. I have not done anything with my little 170 other than that big guy that I was carving up north momentarily. Another unfinished project. I'll get back into that one at some point. I wanted to get all these cutting boards done, get those done and sold. And I'm sure I'm going to have a handful of more orders come in on cutting boards after this batch is gone. I don't know if I'm going to get to any pumpkins or not this year, so maybe I'll try Christmas trees this year. At least 50 half done, huh? So the good news about having them half done is, since you've started those 50, you've probably gained in skill quite a bit. So you can go back to some of those and start trying to fix them up. And the ones that weren't going to be your favorites will now turn out to be a bit more of your favorites. I guess that's the good news on that one, right? Yeah, these guys are just about good soaking up all this oil. Yeah, you can still see a little bit of pooling here on Burnett's board. You get into the light the right way, you can see a little bit of pooling. But it's soaking them up. Tiny bit left on my finger, not much. Yeah. So then after this point, just paper towel, and you pull the paper towel out, you buff the board, and get it right, get it tight and clean. And again, I go to the old-fashioned microfiber rags, or even just regular rags are fine. All right, we'll use that one for the butcher block. Oh, there goes the state police. They weren't happy with somebody. Not at all. Grab a couple pieces of paper towel here. Grab about 4 pieces of paper towel. Should be plenty. We'll grab some gloves and we'll get this buffed up. Get one buffed up. After you buff them, you just let them sit for a little while, let that oil finish absorbing in. And then you can apply the butcher block conditioner a little bit after that. So these boards will all be essentially ready for butcher block conditioner in the next couple hours. And they'll get it. And then after the butcher block conditioner goes on, you can let them sit for a few hours, maybe a day, and then they're ready to ship. You can ship them before that. Doesn't really matter. But we usually use paper towel for this part because once you're buffing it, you're just wiping off any excess, and it's just garbage after that. So. I usually do 1 to 2 pieces of paper towel each board. You don't have to really scrub it or anything like that. Just let the paper towel do its work, but you see how much the paper towel absorbs quite a bit of it. The first one, that's why I normally go through 2 per board. And now, after a quick buffing like that, even without any of the wax on there, now it's really going to start standing out and looking really pretty. And just super, super smooth. The sanding that you do, if you do it right, the first time the board gets washed, you'll have very minimal or even no raising of the grain. So the board will always stay super slick and smooth. So now whatever little bit of excess is left on there will soak in really, really nice. The board will have shine like for a while, especially after the conditioner goes on. But right now, everything that's on there is going to soak up really nice. I might end up needing more paper towel for this bigger board, so I'm just going to use one of the pieces of paper towel that I already used on this board and just get some excess off of it first. Take off a bunch of that excess now, and then I'll switch to a fresh paper towel. This board is freaking heavy. Burnett requested a 2-inch thick board, and I didn't get it quite to 2 inches, but it's about 1 3/4 inches thick. 1 3/4 inches. That's what I meant to say. Not 1 3/4 inches. So it's a thick board. It's beefy, but this board is freaking heavy. And he's got some very dense woods in here. That's going to shine up real pretty, real nice. Skip will, I think Skip will really like this with the oil on it. He got a preview of it with the water, but that was before it had all of its final sanding and all that stuff on there. So get this buffing really quick. And also, if you guys ever do a cutting board like this, always when you're buffing it and stuff, put it in your hand, right? Because unless you're buffing it on a very soft surface, you're going to put marks on the top of it. And then when you give it to your customer, it's going to have marks on it. You want to deliver it with no marks on it in its perfection, not in its definitely been hit and bumped and nicked on anything. You want it to be flawless and perfect. So like when I shipped mine to Stuart, I wrapped it in some thicker paper and then put it inside of a box so that it was protected from everything that was in the box, because I didn't even want it getting a little scratch from anything that had in the box. So like I said, you get your shine. See how much like the oil, I don't know if you can even see it there. Yeah, there you go, right there. That was just oil from what's on the glove. So we'll get another buffing off soon. Carving fusion! All right, put this back in here, and I forgot to pull out the paper for the charcuterie board. Pull another 3 pieces off for that. Buff up the charcuterie board. All this because I'm stuck waiting. I would be hammering through quite a bit more boards at this point. I'm going to have to try to get in contact with her again somehow, because people are waiting to make their picks, man. And I'm trying to get as much done this weekend as I possibly can, because it's back to the grind for me tomorrow. And without moving the camera, I can't really show you the charcuterie board again, because I got those other 2 boards in the way. But man, oh man, with that oil on it, and getting this quick buffing on it. Yeah. Mr. John White, my gosh, I definitely would have kept this board. 100% I would have kept this board. I was joking with them, telling them my wife was going to try to steal it. I would try to steal the board from myself. Like, now I got to probably make another one at some point so my wife can have a pretty board hanging up that she likes. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get more of that Chechen wood. Like, that's not even an option. That's happening. I know it's expensive, but if I can get more cutoff pieces from my buddy that does this stuff, I will definitely take more Chechen cutoffs. This is looking really, really nice. So nice. One more final wipe down here. And this one will go and sit back in the drying rack. The good news is that this board, this charcuterie board, it's going to ship domestically, so shouldn't be too bad. But I did find out that our stupid postal system is going to drastically increase rates as of today, even though they're not even open today, for shipping for the holiday season. Bunch of crap is what that is. All right. Get this one out here, you can see it, right? A little lower. Yeah, that's a purdy one. Definitely purdy. Yep, and then little finger hanger. It's about a 1-inch hole. And this board's heavy too. I mean, this board's got to be 7 to 9 pounds probably. So there we go. Those are all puffed up. And these gloves, man, I mean, you go through them, but definitely helps keep things cleaner. You still got your dragonfly? Wow. I didn't even start a dragonfly piece. I would say, Bap, I would say just the custom cut woodwork and then the Rep 49er. That's fine. The personal Facebook, I really only try to put people in the carving group on there. I mean, my personal page is somewhat personal, but not super. There's Purple Heart and Skip's board, yes. This piece right here, that's Purple Heart and Skip's board. Yeah, I try to keep my my personal Facebook page somewhat personal. I don't post too much stuff on there anyways. I keep my my political opinions to myself, and I keep a lot of my controversial opinions to myself because I just don't feel like arguing with anybody. I don't want to be that person that's bickering and fighting and everything all the time. It's just not worth it. Yeah, it is pretty lush, pretty nice. But yeah, just the YouTube link and the woodworking page, which I've got to do some work on the woodworking page because I switched it to a business page and I freaking hate it. So I got to try to figure out how to switch it back. I do not like Facebook's business page. It absolutely sucks. It looks like we got a couple more viewers. Say hi, viewers. Let us know who you are. Yeah, the Purple Heart. Pull this out here. A super heavy board. That whole strip of Purple Heart right here. And then that's curly walnut or curly maple next to it. You're very, very welcome, Beth. Very, very welcome. Yeah, the green in that curly maple, that's kind of like a tiger stripe to it. It's really cool. There you go. Put that back in there. And the other two viewers bailed out. Yep, the riveting through that maple, it's one of my favorite effects. And I mean, I've got I've got a few other decent sized pieces of curly maple for whatever I want. The only problem with curly maple is, like I said, it's a figured wood. So when you run it through the planer, you get a lot of chip out. So I'm really happy I got that drum sander because I can get it somewhat flat, or for the most part flat, and then finish it off through the drum sander because the drum sander won't tear out the maple like that. Which is a massive, massive benefit. I'm going to grab this little long piece of curly maple here. All right, so you get like some even unfinished, right? If I could have a thicker piece like that instead of on the side, like the side is okay. It does provide some kind of cool effect. But a wider, thicker piece, man, just pretty. The only problem is it does not engrave well. Maple does not engrave well. It's very reflective with the laser, so it doesn't like to accept the work from the engraver very well. Not the most fun thing. Yeah, you can Kutzall carve the bird's eye stuff. But if you do, like I said, it's figured. That was a loud truck. It's figured, so when you go through it, you're going to get you stand a chance to get a lot of chip and tear out, which is going to make it even harder for you on sanding, right? Because maple's really hard, so when you sand it, it takes longer to sand, and then it can burn. So you'd have to be really, really careful. Take your speeds way down. Like if I was going to carve curly maple, I would probably take my speed to the 15 or 20,000 RPM instead of 25. I would slow it down considerably and just see what works and experiment with it, just to try to prevent a ton of tear out. 4x4x9. I mean, take it, dude. Take it, because that's really, really nice, really, really expensive wood. I mean, here in the States, a 4x4x9-inch block of curly maple, that would probably be $60 or $70. I mean, it's honestly like, and that's pre-COVID prices. Just paying by the board foot, it's $13, $14 a board foot, if not more. Yeah, okay, so that makes sense, right? He did wood turning. He was absolutely going to make something cool out of that, and just never got around to it then. It will turn nice because then you're using high-speed steel and you're going across multiple different grains, so it'll turn pretty nice. But I guarantee you, he still had some chip out. Yeah, dude, if he's got lots of old exotic woods and he's willing to hand some off to you, take whatever you can get, man, because some of those exotic woods are going to look and do so freaking nice. And it's funny, right? Because we're across the pond from each other. So what's exotic to you is domestic to me, and what's domestic to me is exotic to you, right? Like curly maple isn't exotic here. Bird's eye maple is native to Michigan. We have tons of bird's eye maple in Michigan, and it's just really expensive wood, but it's not considered exotic here. I hear my Facebook dinging. My person's son messaged me again. I'll let him know that I messaged her again. I don't even know if she's seen it or not yet. I'm going to check and see. Sorry, I'm being quiet. I was typing, focused on a different thing there. All right, we're done with the typing now. Still waiting on freaking replies. See if she's even seen it or not yet. Nope, she has not seen it yet. It's almost time for more coffee. For real. Yeah, you can definitely never have enough wood. I mean, my freaking shop is loaded with little pieces and scrap pieces, and I'm hoarding the ever-living bejesus out of it. Like, I'm hoarding the wood. I'm gonna go get more coffee. Definitely hoarding the wood. And there's a lot that I could probably just go, yeah, no, I'm good. I can get rid of that. And some of it I'll ship out. Like, Skip is going to get some shipped to him. He requested some to get shipped to him. So his shipping box is going to be freaking heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Hey, beautiful. What? I can't hear you. Oiled up some boards, and I'm live streaming, and I'm talking to BAP and to Spike, and I let them know both that you're a big fan of their accents. What? Because I'm live streaming, I'm using my microphone. They're on right now, so they're listening to everything I'm saying right now. And my phone is out in the garage, but I can go like 300 feet away from the transmitter and still get everything needed. So I'm going to step back out there in a second when I'm done cleaning all this stuff up. I got 3 boards in oil right now, and they're drying, waiting for conditioner. The charcuterie board, Skip's board, and Selena's board. So I'm just sitting out there with my bros from across the pond, chatting, having a good time, and showing off the beautiful work in woods. And BAP is uploading a video today of his gift. You want to come out and see the boards all pretty and oiled in a minute? I said it on video earlier, and I said it the other day, but I would definitely have stolen that charcuterie board for myself if you didn't steal it. So I hope that John really, really likes it because it's freaking gorgeous. Just saying, we might have to. No. So I know. I might have to build another one for us here. You can hang on the wall. Nice butt. Love that butt. My gosh, she's mooning me. All right, now I can mount back and I can see all these comments. Oh yeah, that's probably not too far off of happening. At some point, if I don't get a response and she just kind of ghosts me, I will move on. I will let her know when she comes out that you have said good day to you. Oh, ma'am. No, not ma'am. She's going to yell at you now, Spike. I'm not a ma'am. She does have a wonderful butt, though. And she did moon me. Highlight of my morning. It's up here, and it's like right here you're fine for the most part. You might get your legs in there, but BAP says, hello, beautiful lady. Good day to you. And top. Looks like we're back to being live here. I gotta switch the camera around though. There we go. And we're back. BAP. I mean, you're not far off in the timing though, BAP. BAP said, I posted in here and said that the battery died, back up in a minute. And Spike said, no way. BAP says, okay. Spike, no worries. BAP said, hope she didn't moon us when the battery died. And then Spike said, Sod's Law, bro. And then BAP says, the battery died. Is that code for it'll only take me 2 minutes? My wife said, I mean, do we need to shut her down again? I know. I know. And it's humid out here now. I don't like it. I don't like it. A little moderation alert here. Yeah, we'll see how that one rolls out. What the heck? I'm still waiting on Jesse to come back to me. Nope, I messaged her again this morning to check and see if she saw it or not yet. She has not seen it yet. I'm trying to get as much done as possible though. Ah, yes, we are back. This hoodie was the wrong idea for this weather right now. I thought it was going to be much, much more cool. Yeah, I do have a little hole right there. That's okay. Old needle wiener poked it through there. Okay, you go back in when you want. Yeah, we'll put some board conditioner on there in a few minutes. Let this just about ready for it. And hit it with a little bit more paper towel. Can you grab me another roll of paper towel, sweetheart? Finish this roll off. Buff this one down again. Wipe off whatever excess we can get. We'll be pretty much ready for board conditioner here soon. Thank you. Just set it down for a minute. I'll grab it. Thank you. All right, that one's really close to being good to go and ready. This heavy son of a bitch. Jesus. I don't know if you guys can hear our ducks quacking out there. My wife opens the door and the chickens and the ducks come a running because she's the one that brings food out to them all the time. I'll clean off the charcuterie board. Almost all ready for a little conditioner here. The conditioner won't change the look much, but it does seal it up, that wax that's on there. Some people, when they do their boards, they skip the initial mineral oil and they just go right to the butcher block conditioner. I don't really like that because the butcher block conditioner is intended to only add a little bit of mineral oil and then seal it up. The wax kind of seals. It doesn't really harden, it just seals, fills in the little bit of gaps and makes it a little more solid and smooth. So I like to get that good saturation with the mineral oil before any type of butcher block conditioner goes on. I guess it's just personal preference, but that's what I like to do. I was playing peekaboo a little bit, apparently. It's just so small you couldn't see it. Old needle wiener. Yeah, like I said, the butcher block conditioner, it'll go on next, and it doesn't really change the effect or the look much. Might add a little bit of shine to it initially, but once you buff it all down and get it nice, that's it. It doesn't change much after that. Dries a little bit. Yeah, for the most part. I mean, it protects it and it seals it. So like I said, there's natural waxes in it. So it doesn't seal it to the point where, like, if you have a little crack, it's going to fill the crack and it's going to keep it out of there. It just helps seal up the grains of the wood. Kind of like when you put wax on the end grain, when you're trying to dry a log and you put wax on it. It's pretty similar to that. It just helps keep everything moisture-wise in and water and juices out, right? Because the oil and water don't mix, and there's mineral oil and wax in there, so it really just kind of helps keep the water out and juices from meat and stuff like that. So that's really all it's sealing out, is stuff like that. It's not meant to like fill a big gap. It doesn't dry rock hard. You reapply it. Depending on how much you use your board, you reapply it every month or every couple months. If you don't use your board very often at all, like you use your board a couple times a year, you probably only recondition it 2, maybe 3 times a year, right? I mean, if you're not using it, you don't really need to condition it that much. But if you're using your board heavily, you'll probably condition it 2 or 3 times per month. They say to recondition it when it feels dry. That's the attempt, is to recondition it when it feels dry. And we're getting ready to throw on our first conditioner here very shortly. I'm just looking at it and seeing, so I still got a little bit of oil up here, still kind of shining through. So right now it's like kind of pushing it out. Whatever it's not using, it's kind of pushing out. That's okay, what we want. Yeah, I think we're good. So you can use paper towel to do this. I like to use a rag, and I'm going to use the same rag for butcher block conditioner as I will the oil, right? So I know the oil is the orangish red rag, and it's not going to hurt to mix it because it's still the same mineral oil that goes on the board is the same mineral oil that goes in the conditioner, so it doesn't hurt to mix it, but I don't want to thin out the wax anymore. There's a mixture between the wax and the mineral oil, so I don't want to thin that out. So I just use the same rag all the time for everything. Yeah, definitely so the wood can still breathe. That's definitely an accurate description, just so the wood can still breathe. Yeah, so this looks good. We can give a little dab. So, I mean, and realistically, yeah, you can see most of it. Burnett's board's in the way a little bit. Like I said, this little bottle will do a ton, right? Like this little bottle will do a ton of conditioning. You really don't need a lot. That little bit is enough to do this entire side of the board. All right, so when you guys kind of see it maybe, that little bit is enough to do the entire side of the board. And then we'll get the other side of the board too. And you just kind of work it around and in a circle. I like to do it in a circle. You can go back and forward, straight up and down, whatever you want. No right or wrong way to it because you're going to buff it in the end. And I'll get the other side, and after I get this side with it, I'll have enough on the rag that I can just go around the sides. But yeah, one 2-ounce bottle. I'll probably do 5 boards. Then we'll let this dry. You don't have to worry about too much stuff as far as like lint or hair or whatever. If it gets on there, it's okay. It just pulls right off. Doesn't really like stick or harden in there like it does with urethane. So that one is good. Set this down and we'll pull out Skip's board. Set it on this side. And now the more that I use this, the more that's going to sit on that rag. And I can effectively use less and less. I'm only going to gently wipe this in because Skip's board is freaking heavy. So I don't want to carry it too much. So I'm gently doing it because I've got the bottom side of this on the plastic tub here. So I'm going to get the sides while I'm holding it here. Giving myself a little helping hand on it. A little bit more on this side. Now you can see I didn't even put as much on that side now. And that was plenty to cover this. We'll get the charcuterie board and we'll get that one done. And then this will get buffed to a nice shine. Let it dry and these boards will be done. Done. So normally what I would do is get some started like this and have some in the, kind of like rotating through, right? Like I'd get some started doing this, moving through and drying and getting it all right and good. And right now the board is slippery. So I'm trying to be grippy and careful, right? Because we don't want to drop it. The last thing we want to have happen, drop the board. Really suck. As I was saying, normally what I would do is I'd try to have like a rotation running on this. And keep certain things moving and going. And I have to grab another bottle of that for sure. I already knew that going into it, but I have to grab another bottle of it before I get all these boards done. You can see it's kind of changing the shine and the sheen of it a little bit. Got a little brighter, a little more colorful. That kind of goes away when you buff it. Trying to get all the sides and everything. Like I said, as this rag fills up with different amounts of oil or conditioner, I won't have to use as much. The rag's going to hold a bunch of it, and it doesn't really dry on the rag so well, so won't be as bad. I don't think I got the backside of that handle very much. No, I got everything else, but all right. A little bit more on this. Get this side good. So this side of the rag, I try to keep it on the same side. Eventually the whole rag will get saturated and that's fine. But I try to keep the same side used, so I saturate one side first. Then I have a buildup on there. And then after this, it's all just buffing. Wait about a couple hours, let this soak in. Just buff it up. And I'll keep all these rags and everything out and just remember what one was used for what, for which purpose. I didn't throw gloves on, so now my gloves or my hands are all oily. But we'll just use a little paper towel and clean ourselves up. So the part I like about these little racks too, the racks that I got here, I mean, they're just dish racks, right? I mean, they're just for holding pans or whatever. But the nice part about it is they don't mess up the finish, right? Like they don't mar it up or anything like that. They don't leave a mark when it's time to polish it all up. Makes it really beneficial and easy. The conditioner is Howard Products. I'm actually an authorized dealer for Howard Products, and I did that so that I could buy this stuff in bulk. Because finding these little 2-ounce bottles in the store is ridiculously hard, and they're like I want to say about $3 a bottle in the store. And I give one of these bottles to everybody that I send a board to. And at $3 a bottle, it's not like a huge cost, right? It's pretty minimal, realistically. But it's still $3 a bottle. So I have a whole freaking thing, which I'm getting ready to pull out now because I already know I'm going to need it. But I've got a bunch of stuff in the way too. Slide this out a little bit so I can get this out a little bit more. And find an open box of this stuff. So when I send out my boards, I send out care pamphlets, tell you how to do everything, how to care for everything, different Howard product stuff, so people don't have to question what they're doing. And then, like I said, I buy these little sample size bottles in freaking bulk. Right? I get them way cheaper that way. By becoming an authorized dealer, I get them way cheaper that way. I think I spend about $1.50, $1.75 a bottle instead of like $3 a bottle. And then, like I said, I just order a couple boxes of it at a time, and then I'm good to go. Good to go for a while, because they ship for free if you order 4 cases of whatever you're ordering. It doesn't have to be the same stuff, but they'll ship for free if you order 4 different cases or 4 of the same cases. So I order cases at a time. Like I ordered a couple cases of cleaner, and then I ordered a couple cases of the little samples. Okay, $7 over there, and that's for the small bottle or for the large bottle? Because the large bottle is 12 ounces. Yeah, 12 ounces. Holy crap, $7 for the little 2-ounce bottle? Jeez, oh Pete's. That's really freaking expensive. $7 for a little bottle. Jeez, oh Pete's, I would not want to pay that. Hell, I'm hoping that Stuart didn't have to pay that much, because that would really suck. So here we go. I can show you. All right, so for the conditioning portion, stupid little fly. After seasoning your surface with the cutting board oil, which is the mineral oil that we soaked it in, apply butcher block conditioner, let stand for at least 1 hour, or if possible overnight. Like I said, I usually go about 2 hours. For unconditioned surfaces, 1.5 inch thick and over, which would be for Nat's board, apply 3 to 4 coats. So because I let it soak and soak up all that oil, I don't have to apply 3 to 4 coats. I can just do the 1 coat of conditioner. Apply to all sides for even penetration, wipe off any excess. Buff the wood to a nice sheen. The conditioner helps protect the wood by keeping the mineral oil in and the moisture out. Right, and then they give you cleaning instructions, and I sell the cleaning solvent as well. If you want to use the cleaning solvent, I do sell that as well. I think I sell that for around $8-9 a bottle. Just something nice to have for cleaning up your board. It helps with if you got a smelly board, it'll help take away the stink off of your board. Holy crap, $6.76 per bottle. Wow. It's hard to find the little bottles here in the States. Like I said, I can go to like woodworking stores and find it, but then I'm paying $3.50 a bottle. Occasionally, you can find it at Walmart or some other stores, Home Depots or hardware stores. Occasionally, you can find them there, but again, you're paying probably $3 a bottle easily. Very seldomly do you find it retail for under $3. So making myself a dealer, or getting in on that, best thing I could have done, because I buy tons of these little bottles for sending out to customers. But obviously I use a ton when I'm doing this many boards too. Yeah, it was a smart and effective way to go. I wanted to do something a little bit extra for my customers and give them something a little bit extra when I did a board for them. And this just seemed like the right thing to do, was provide them the same type of finishing conditioner that I use. Yeah, so I'll buff these and finish them up probably around noon. It's 10 o'clock here right now. Give them a little over 2 hours. And that'll be my finishing end to it, as I'm sitting here continuing to wait for messages to come in. She still hasn't even, I don't think she's seen it yet either. Nope, still hasn't seen it. So I'll give her the opportunity to see it this morning. If she sees it and doesn't reply, well, I have to bump her. I've given lots of opportunities. I'm going to have to bump her if she doesn't reply, unfortunately. And I put in my post on my Facebook for it. I give people 3 weeks. Once we've started and finished their board, they have 3 weeks for delivery and payment. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I won't feel bad about it. I give people 3 weeks to pay and pick up their board, because I had a board, the one that I sent Stuart actually. The person ordered the board, supposed to be ready by Christmas. I had it ready by Christmas. It's time for them to pick up. Nothing. Couldn't get them to pick up. I went all the way into February waiting on them to reply back and pick up, and got a couple messages here and there. They said they still wanted it. Waited and waited and waited. And then it was earlier this year, probably around March, somewhere between March and May, I finally said, all right, I'm done. I've waited like 6 months, and traded it off to Stuart for the carvings that he sent me. Like, no problem, man. I don't got any problem taking the engraving off and shipping it out to somebody else. I don't have any problem selling these boards. So I don't care if people like need to back out. I just prefer if like people say, hey, I'm sorry, I can't do it right now. I gotta wait. Okay, cool, man. You gotta wait. I get it. No biggie. So, like I said, I won't feel bad if I got a bumper. Yeah, yep. Just be honest. If I got a bumper, I got a bumper. It's not a big deal. And it won't hurt my feelings at all. I won't hold it against anybody. I won't have any issues with it. I'll still treat people the same way. Uh, I just need to know so that I can continue on and get everybody else their boards. Like I've got the next two people in line after her, they each have 2 picks. So that's 4 more boards that I could be working on right now. And I'm waiting. So I'd rather not have to wait. I know it sounds a little impatient, but I have limited time, so I got to get this done when I can get it done. And like the other person who I just talked about a few minutes ago that ordered the board and then never picked it up. Like, I'll still comment on their stuff. I will still react to their stuff and talk to them. I'll go have a beer with them, whatever. Makes no difference to me. Just if I got to move something, I got to move something. No, you know, I don't do this as a business, but I do it as extra money, and I do it as fun money, and I do it to pay for new tools and buy cool stuff. So like I said, I'll try to give her till noon. Maybe she's sleeping in, who knows. And if not, then yeah, I'll have to move on down the line. Like I said, she had from 9:30 last night. She saw the messages and what have you. She had from 9:30 last night to whenever she went to bed to pick a board out, and then this morning. Yeah, I know. And then sometimes I'm too nice. Sometimes I'm a little extra. It's a freaking word I'm looking for. Accommodating. A little extra accommodating when I don't need to be, but you know, it is what it is. Like I said, it's not a quote unquote business for me. It's a hobby and it's something I do for fun, but I do sell the stuff, so gotta move along, keep making the money when I can. But like I said, I will right around noon when I get ready to buff these boards or whatever, I will I'll message her again, or I'll have her son shoot her a text message and reach out to her for me and tell him to have her contact me or whatever, so that I can give her a final hey, I'm moving on. I don't hear from you, I'm moving on. Yeah, I mean, and I'll do that too, right? Like, I'll give her the opportunity to jump on at the end. Realistically, what's left, I never anticipate to be there long. There's already people expressing interest a little bit, so I don't ever anticipate what's left over to be left over for long. So I already told her if she passes on this, she can have first pick on the next set, and if she takes first pick on the next set, fine. But it'll be another scenario like this if I can't get a hold of her and she's not making a choice, and you know, it'll be again, I'll pass her up and move on down the line if I have to. And I got to get some cardboard out so I can stack these boards up with cardboard in between them. And I got to go and find some cardboard so I can ship some of these, because the damn boxes are not like easy find boxes, so I'm gonna have to custom make some boxes to pack these up for shipping. And Skip is wanting some wood shipped to him as well, so I'm gonna ship him some wood along with his board. But for now, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this stream, and I'll be back on later tonight for the carving stream. And my downdraft table, the motor blew out on me already. Kind of stinks, but it's fine. I got a really good deal on the downdraft table, but I'll have to replace the motor. It crapped out on me yesterday, but I will be back on later tonight and doing the carving. I'm just going to have to cover everything up so I don't get sawdust on these boards, and cover up all the oil and everything. That's going to be what has to happen. I'm just looking in the bottom of my bin here. It looks like it's, I hope I'm not leaking oil somewhere, because it looks as though, shouldn't be. Just looked low. Maybe it's because I poured that gallon on top of a board. That's got to be it. I don't see any leaking spots. I was a little concerned, but yeah, I mean, it's okay. Like I said, I'll get a new motor for it. Won't be too expensive. At least I hope it won't be too expensive. I'll buy one used and see what I get out of it. Shouldn't be too bad. Putting my lights back on for motion sensing. I'm going to be out of the garage for a little while now, while I'm waiting for everything to seal up and do its thing. Oh, I know it gets everywhere. I'll definitely cover them up really good. I do not want that kind of cleanup mess happening there. Definitely not what I want. There we go. All right, guys. I will see you all later. You all have a good one.